Hey everyone, today I'm going to show you how to make this little plush snail. He's really cute and really easy, and it only has two pattern pieces, which I will have links for. So it's just a triangle kind of shape for the body, and then a rectangle for the shell. And you only need 3 colors of fleece, or you could probably use felt for this too, but I'm going to use white for his body, and then brown and light yellow for the shell. And by using 2 colors for the shell, you're going to get that spirally effect, and it's really easy. I'll show you how to do it. And just 2 little black buttons for the eyes, or you could use whatever, I guess, and also buttons along the top of the shell just for decoration, and then 2 big buttons to put on the bottom that'll help him stand up. So keeping with like the brown theme, I have various brown buttons that I'm going to put on him, and then I have 2 big brown buttons for the bottom. And then for the antenna, I'm going to use brown yarn. And you're also going to need scissors, pins, a sewing machine, a tiny bit of stuffing, and a glue gun. And make sure you have lots of extra glue sticks because you will need a lot. Alright, so to start, I'm going to take my white fleece, or whatever color you're going to use for the body, and I have it folded in half right sides together because you need to cut 2 of these. So I'm just going to lay it down, and I'm going to pin it and then cut around the whole thing with a 1/4 inch all the way around. Now I'm going to start cutting out the fabric for the shell, and it's just the rectangle piece, and you need to cut it on a fold. So I'm going to take my brown fleece first and fold it in half right sides together, and then I'm going to just place one short end on the fold, and I'm going to pin that down, and I'm going to cut it out all the way around with a 1/4 inch all the way around. Okay, so I have this, and it's still folded in half, and now I'm going to take my yellow fleece, or whatever other color you're going to use for the shell, and I'm just going to fold this in half and take the other fleece that I already cut, still folded in half, match up the folds, and then cut directly around the first piece of fleece, and I'll come back and show you what to do next. Okay, so I have my 2 colors of fleece for the shell cut out, and I have 2 long strips, and I'm just putting them together right sides together, and I'm just going to pin around 3 sides, leaving one of the short ends open, and then I'm just going to sew around those 3 sides, and then I'm going to turn it inside out. Alright, so I sewed my 2 shell pieces together and turned them right side out, so now it's just a tube that's yellow on one side and brown on the other, and I'm just going to set that aside for now and bring back in the 2 pieces of white fleece that I cut out for the body, and they're still right sides together. But before I do any sewing here, I'm going to take a piece of brown yarn, or whatever you're going to use for the antenna. You can use pipe cleaners, of course, and I'm just going to cut it in half because I need 2. So now I have 2 pieces the same length, and I'm just going to peel back the top piece of fleece of the body, and I'm going to take the pieces of yarn and place them inside just so they hang over the edge a tiny bit, and just center them or put them wherever you want them to be. And you want the long pieces to go inside in towards the inside of the pieces. And then you're just going to fold this piece back on top, so when you sew it, those are going to get sandwiched between the 2 layers, and when you turn it right side out, they're going to stick up like antennas. So I'm just going to pin this and sew it, but you want to leave a gap like down by the pointed end for turning it inside out. So just about that big. So I'm going to start pinning here, go around and end here, and then I'm going to sew around there, leaving that gap, and then I'll come back and show you what to do next. So here's my snail's body all sewn up and turned right side out, and you can see the antenna stand right up, and it's okay if they're a little uneven because I'm going to wait till it's all put together, but I'm going to trim them and knot the ends just to add something. And before I close up the opening where I turned it right side out, you want to stuff this, but only a little bit, because you know it's going to be like this and the shell goes here. So I'm only going to stuff it to about right there, maybe like just under halfway, and I'm just going to use cotton balls that I've kind of like pulled apart because I don't have any actual stuffing on me right now. So I'm just going to stuff them, remember, just to there because you want this part to lay flat. So once it's stuffed, I'm just going to use my glue gun to close up this hole, or you could top stitch it, but you know, just fold it in on itself, top stitch it or glue it or whatever, and then I'll be back. So now I'm going to start rolling up the shell, and I'm going to start from the open end where you turned it right side out, and whatever color you want to be on the outside of the shell, like on this one the top is the blue. So in this case I want the top to be yellow, so I'm going to start with the brown side up, so when I roll it, it'll end up yellow on the outside. So I've got my glue gun here and it's plugged in and all ready. So first I'm just going to go inside that opening and just glue it shut. You don't have to sew it because it's going to be on the inside anyway, so just glue that shut, and then I'm going to start rolling. So I'm going to put some glue right along the edge here, all the way across, but not too much because you don't want it to squirt out the sides. And then I'm just going to fold it over just to get it started. Like that. And then basically I'm just going to squirt some glue a little bit ahead and roll it up really tight and hold it until it cools. And then I'm just going to keep doing that all the way up. So I'll show you again. So just a bunch of glue like that, and then I'm just going to roll it up. Be careful because it's really hot. I always burn myself when I use a glue gun. Like that, and just hold it until it cools. So I'm just going to keep going all the way up, and make sure you glue it really, really well at this end because you don't want it to unroll. So I'm just going to do that. Alright, so I'm back now with my shell all rolled up, so you can see it's a little spirally shell thing. And now I'm just going to take the body that I lightly stuffed. You don't want it like really super puffy, you just want a little bit plush there, but not too much. So now I'm going to attach the shell to the body. So I'm going to take where it ended there, you want that pointing down, and you want that part to kind of meet right here where it bends. So it's going to be like this. So I'm going to start by just remembering where I want it, and we'll do it this way. I'm going to put a bunch of glue right here and stick that on first, and then I'm going to glue up here to keep it upright like that. So I'm just going to start. So I've got some brown ones here that I'm just going to attach with the glue gun, of course. So I'm just kind of have them in a little pattern here. Okay, now for the eyes, I have just two really tiny black buttons that I'm just going to glue on the front of his face. So now I'm going to take my two large brown buttons, and you can see this one I've got buttons and it helps him stand up. So see, he kind of stands up on his own, but I just want to do this, so I'm going. Okay, so here's my finished snail, and I just put one knot at the top of the yarn and then trimmed off the very top, just, you know, to make them look more like antennas. And then got all his buttons, spirally shell, buttons on the bottom, and you can see he stands up on his own. He's a little lopsided, but you know, it's hard to get it perfect. Oops. There we go. So that's the end of this video. I hope it was helpful, and I hope you have fun making little snails. Thanks for watching. Bye.